In recent years, the South China Sea has become the epicenter of regional tensions, where questions of sovereignty, maritime rights, and freedom of navigation converge. Two frontline states, Vietnam and the Philippines, find themselves navigating the challenge of defending their territorial integrity while modernizing militaries that once lagged far behind regional powers. Among their modernization efforts, combat aircraft stand out as both symbols of national pride and practical tools of deterrence. Vietnam has invested in heavy multirole fighters like the Su-30 Mk2, while the Philippines has acquired lighter jets such as the FA-50 from South Korea. Though these two aircraft represent different classes and capabilities, together they paint a fascinating picture of how Southeast Asian air forces are adapting to strategic realities. If you enjoy in-depth military analysis like this, make sure to support the channel so we can continue producing quality content for you. Vietnam's acquisition of the Su-30 Mk2 was a game-changer for its air force. Purchased from Russia over the past 2 decades, the Su-30 Mk2 is a true heavyweight. Designed for long-range operations, it carries a powerful radar system, advanced avionics, and a weapons suite that makes it a credible threat against both air and naval targets. Its ability to fire Kh-31 anti-ship missiles gives Vietnam a critical tool to counter hostile fleets, while its range allows it to patrol far into disputed waters. More than just a fighter, the Su-30 is an integral part of Vietnam's anti-access area denial strategy. When combined with coastal missile batteries like the Bastion P and the silent threat of Kilo-class submarines, the Su-30 helps form a layered defense that complicates any adversary's operations in the South China Sea. For the Philippines, the path to modern air power has been far more modest, yet no less significant. After decades of neglect, the Philippine Air Force had lost its last true fighter aircraft in the early 2000s. This left the country unable to defend its own skies, relying instead on allies for protection. The decision to purchase the FA-50 Golden Eagle from South Korea marked the first step toward rebuilding a credible combat aviation capability. The FA-50 is a light fighter and advanced jet trainer capable of Mach 1.5 speeds and equipped with a modest radar system. Its armament includes air-to-air missiles such as the AM-9 Sidewinder and precision-guided bombs. While it cannot match the firepower or endurance of a heavy fighter like the Su-30, the FA-50 provides the Philippines with a much-needed platform to train pilots, patrol its airspace, and respond to incursions. More importantly, it serves as a stepping stone toward more advanced fighters, with Manila openly considering acquisitions of F-16s or Gripens in the near future. The contrast between the Su-30 Mk2 and the FA-50 is striking. On one side, Vietnam's heavy fighter is capable of long-range strike missions, sea denial, and high-intensity air combat. On the other, the Philippines' light fighter is limited in reach and firepower, but affordable, easier to maintain, and suitable for a country with limited resources. This divergence reflects not just budgetary realities, but also strategic philosophies. Vietnam, sharing a land border and maritime disputes with China, must prepare for the possibility of high-end conflict, necessitating robust and survivable platforms. The Philippines, by contrast, has long depended on its alliance with the United States, and its air force has been rebuilt as a complementary force, focused on basic territorial defense and alliance integration. Despite these differences, the two countries' air forces complement each other in interesting ways. Vietnam's Su-30s, with their extended range and powerful sensors, can play the role of long-distance guardians, projecting power across contested waters. The Philippines' FA-50s, though smaller in capability, provide essential quick response options for intercepts and patrols, particularly in the country's vast and fragmented archipelago. Together, they represent two ends of the modernization spectrum in Southeast Asia. One driven by necessity and self-reliance, the other by pragmatism and alliance politics. Strategically, this divergence carries implications for the South China Sea. If Vietnam's Su-30s serve as a spear tip for deterrence, the Philippines' FA-50s are a shield in waiting, preparing Manila for a future when its air force may field more capable fourth-generation fighters. The symbolism of both nations investing in air power is also important. It signals to the region that Southeast Asian states are no longer content with military weakness. Even with limited resources, they are determined to build credible deterrent forces. It is also worth noting that both aircraft acquisitions tie the two countries closer to different partners. Vietnam's reliance on Russia for the Su-30 underscores its historical defense ties, even as Hanoi diversifies with Israel and Western suppliers. The Philippines, by buying from South Korea, deepens its connections to a U.S. ally and positions itself more firmly in the orbit of Western defense networks. These choices may shape future cooperation, especially as the United States seeks to link its allies into a stronger network of regional security. From a military technical perspective, any potential coordination between Vietnam and the Philippines would be asymmetrical. Su-30s could provide air dominance and strike support in contested zones, while FA-50s could handle training, air policing, and quick response duties. Though not part of a formal alliance, the mere possibility of complementary air operations would complicate the calculations of any adversary seeking to exploit gaps in regional defense. The image of Vietnamese heavy fighters and Philippine light fighters working in tandem, even if informally, suggests an emerging security architecture where smaller states reinforce one another. Looking ahead, the trajectory of both air forces could bring them closer in capability. If the Philippines acquires F-16 Block 70 or Saab Gripen fighters, Manila would leap into the class of advanced multirole aircraft. Vietnam, for its part, faces decisions about whether to upgrade its Su-30 fleet, diversify with Western fighters, or invest in unmanned aerial combat systems. Either way, the future could see a convergence where both nations field credible, modernized air forces that anchor Southeast Asia's defense posture. For now, the Su-30 Mk2 and FA-50 embody two different paths. One reflects readiness for high-intensity conflict, the other reflects incremental rebuilding. Yet both reflect determination to no longer be vulnerable, to no longer leave their skies unguarded. And in a region where air power can decide the balance of power, these choices matter. As the South China Sea grows more contested, it will be the combination of such platforms, whether heavy fighters, light fighters, or drones, that defines the ability of Southeast Asian nations to defend themselves. Vietnam and the Philippines, though very different in their approaches, are together writing a new chapter in the story of regional air power. If you found this analysis insightful, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps us bring more thoughtful military content and ensures that voices from Southeast Asia are heard in the global conversation on security.